Wouldn't be a Jeff Meacham stream without a botch, now would it? Of course, I ran the wrong opening there to start with. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this 15 years of doing this crazy show, but it certainly wasn't me that started it by my damn self. It's because of this guy we're sitting here. So welcome back to the Jeff Meacham Network, to the Great Cherry brand, and the Custody Studios, and of course, his own channel, the YouTube channel of NoDQ.com. The boss himself, Aaron Rift. Man, how the hell are you?
I'm doing really well, and that was quite the trip down memory lane with all the photos, all of the old Talk Wrestling graphics, and all of the different openings since 2017. Crazy to think that it's been 15 years since that very first time you stepped into my apartment. You were there to talk about Chris Benoit, and the rest is history.
It is crazy to me that the Chris Benoit story is still in the news as of this week. It's just like thanks to everybody's favorite female website contributor / professional wrestler. We're going to be talking about open mic night this week. So there you go. So thank you, Jordan. We appreciate the relevancy to our topic still. Thank you so much for that. Lord. Yeah, 15 years. I mean, you start, God, you and I, as you saw in the trailer, 20 years ago, you and I officially started doing these crazy shows. And God, it was so low tech. I mean, sitting there, in the apartment in the valley with the microphone literally taped to the telephone to make sure we could talk to the people, Bobby Heenan, everybody across the country. And then we did that show for a little bit and kind of just petered out, did what it did. And then, man, this storybook with Benoit a year after we stopped doing the video show together with me and Lee and everybody else that was around hanging out. And it needed to be talked about because there was so much crap in the media, and there was so much garbage being spewed. I heard you mention the other day I was not too kind to Miss Nancy Grace, and I still wouldn't be to this day. She's still a head case. But I actually picked out some of the clips from that first show, and I wanted to get your reactions to it right here in front of everybody. So let me go ahead and see if I can get one of them queued up here without a hassle, because that's always fun. Let's do that.
Vince McMahon is not the devil incarnate. Mr. McMahon may have been, but Vince McMahon is not. And when the world realizes that, everything will be much, much better.
Wow. That was quite the comment right there. And
that one didn't age well at all. Just not age well looking back.
Nice hair, though.
I watched the whole first show. God damn, I missed my hair, but that's what kids will do to you, folks. Kids and exes are a dangerous combination. You and I, at least about the exes, we know for sure. The kid, not so much on. But yeah, it's been. I remember when 2 weeks, literally to the day that first aired, which was July 16th. It was going to be this Saturday. We were going to do this show, but you're going to be, as you said, you're going to be out of town, and I'm going to be. Hopefully, Dylan's coming home Friday night, so I'll be with him Saturday if he doesn't go to your favorite place, Six Flags. Which, again, we saw some of those pictures from Six Flags, too. A lot of the pictures of you and I in that clip are from Six Flags. So we figured we'd do it today. But, yeah, 2 weeks to the day after the show first aired on July 16th, based on medical determination, was actually when Dylan first came into being as far as his time in utero. So, yeah, it was a crazy, crazy ride. We did the show, that night. We did the show after I came back from Florida and WrestleMania, after he was born. And I had taken the time off. It was so crazy how his existence and the show's existence are very much intertwined within a couple weeks of each other. That's crazy. But much of the show's early existence had clips like this.
Oh, God. Okay. Deep cleansing breath. Let it out. Okay.
Face palm of the week, and we had that on a regular basis.
We did. The face palms were always the greatest thing because people seem to go out of their way to earn the face palm of the week. That should definitely be a thing.
I remember the mailbag, and you would have people send in questions, and sometimes it was just warranted.
Yes, exactly. It was just absolutely insane how things worked out. I'm seeing. I saw JD in the comments there. I just realized there's a whole bunch of comments I didn't address yet. So let me go ahead and say hello to everybody. Hello, Hassan. Hello, Don. Thank you. Hello, Ray. Thank you. Dustin. Thank you for the congrats. Daniel. Thank you. Joey, thank you as well. Joey's actually, if I remember right, Joey is the gentleman that we met at the Forum House show, which I didn't realize was that long ago, as long ago as it was, Aaron, that house show. Because when I went to Dynamite, I was talking to people that I had seen at that show. It was like, damn, that was 6 years ago.
End of 2015, I think, right?
Oh, was it 15? I thought it was 16. No, you know what? 16 was the NXT show in Bakersfield, so it was 15. Wow, yeah. 7 years almost then. That's crazy. But yeah, that was last time I had seen a show at the Forum period, and before that it was King's Games before they moved in '99. So that's
Jeff. I'll tell you this: 7 years ago feels like a lifetime ago, and hell, 2.5 years ago feels like a lifetime ago with everything that's happened since 2020.
You know, it's funny when you think about where our lives were 7 years ago. You and I especially. You think about where our lives were 2.5 years ago. And it's just crazy how things have gone back and forth. And, well, that's a big face. Dylan, before I bring you in, back up just a hair, bud, because you're like right here on the camera. There you go. So, yes, in the green room, I'm trying to give him direction as I'm on the air here, because that's what Aaron's always taught me to do, is give direction. The man I was just speaking about, and he is a man, damn it. Dylan, my friend, Dylan. It's good to see your face.
Yeah.
I forgot what you look like. It's been so damn long. How are you, kiddo?
Good.
Good. Okay. That's a great answer for a talk show. Cool.
Dude, I got like white spots all over me.
You're what?
Dude, okay, no, hold on.
Dude alert.
Like on my elbow, it's dark, but you can't see it. But like on my elbow and like on my knees and like on my hand and on my arm, it's like it goes from like tan to just white. And there's like white spots too. It isn't like it's just like not tan. It's like it'll be tan and it'll be like just like a white splotch. And then tan again.
Okay, cool. You're a big giant splotch at Disneyland on Sunday. Cool. So before we actually got your video straightened out, I was talking to Aaron about the fact that the very first show we aired of Talk Wrestling and your existence are about 2 weeks apart. So it's just crazy that your life's very much intertwined with this show and with Aaron's and my continued friendship. It's like I said, 15 years is a long time, and you're almost 15 yourself now. So,
I am almost 15.
It's crazy. So, so for everybody watching on Aaron's channel and on Greg's channel, tell everybody what you've been up to. First of all, to tell everybody where you're getting ready to start in a couple weeks.
What am I starting? Oh, high school.
Yeah, Dylan's starting high school, y'all. That's how long Aaron and I have been doing this show. Dylan's going to be a freshman in high school at my old school, no less. You saw some clips of that show, that school on the old show. Anyway, just want to bring in real quick here. Josh is here, our buddy Josh Mansfield. And let's see. Psycho Jet Black with a comment on that already. I just realized Aaron here seems to have a good haircut during that montage in the beginning. Well, that's because once Aaron did that, once Matt Cardona, botch forced us to shave our heads in 2016, Aaron just kind of stuck with it. So all the other shots you saw in the montage are older than that. That's why. Let's see. The boss man is here. JJ's here. I mentioned that earlier. Yeah, the clip didn't age well. CC's here as well. Hello, CC. Hello, JJ. Let me just see. Walter Cruz is here. So Aaron, let me ask you this. Walter seems to think your worst nightmare is both of us being on the show together at the same time. Why is that?
It's just a lot of talking. That's all. The two of you, when you guys are both on, we're going at least an hour and a half, if not 2 hours, because Jeff, you like to talk. That's why you've been doing this for so long. Walter likes to talk too. We found that out when we first brought him on. We love Walter, but the two of you guys, you're both dominant when it comes to getting a word in. And I feel like he's the one guy that gives you a run for your money when it comes to trying to get a word in. Walter will fight you for the talking time.
Yes, well, episode 200 of the No DQ review is definitely not. We're definitely looking forward to see how that goes. Ken, I see your super chat. Thank you very much, sir. $10. And he says, congratulations to good old JM for the 50th anniversary of Talk Wrestling. From the first episode to first question of the week. Yes, the facepalm. It's hard to pick the best episode. By the way, what's good, Aaron Rift? Well, there you go.
What the hell happened to Ken terminated by no DQ? He just disappeared from my channel.
I don't know if he got banned or what. It wasn't me that laid the ban hammer on him. At least If I did, it wasn't on purpose. I promise that. And if I had a way to go in there and check, I would. I have no way to check yours because I can control the chat rooms during the stream, but I know your account, so we'll see. Great question from a Talk Wrestling Easter egg, Aaron, that you'll remember. I once sent a video that Damien Demento is a worse gimmick than the Red Rooster. Is it still true today? Absolutely. Damien Demento was one of the worst things they ever did in WWE, and that's saying something considering how bad WWE gimmicks were in the 80s and 90s. But Damien also attacked us personally. So, attack me and RVD. How about that? I won't say attacked Aaron because he didn't attack Aaron, at least not on purpose. But yeah, that was a interesting time for the show when we were dealing with what do you call it? Outside forces with Aaron's. Are you want me to show what's on your share screen here?
Yeah.
Okay. This should be good. What am I seeing here? We are live. I have no idea what's going on here, folks. So there you go.
I wanted to show
trying.
that
There it goes.
photo. It's not showing the photo I wanted to show. I did bring it up. All right, this ain't working.
I mean, you can always message it to me if you want. If you want to get on the air, I'm not sure what to tell you. Let's see. James says, "Congratulations! Thank you for giving me such a huge opportunity. Years of Talk Wrestling, such a great accomplishment. Congrats, my guy." Thank you, James. I appreciate that. I appreciate being able to provide the platform. And hell, if he hadn't provided me the platform back in 2002, which we'll talk about later this year, obviously, there wouldn't be a Talk Wrestling now after 15 years. So, and I wouldn't be able to, have my son, on air scratching his nose because, that's just how it works.
I think Ken terminated by Google doesn't like me because he just left. And by the way, I sent you a photo, so if you want to throw it up at some point, feel free to do so. It's a photo I
put on Messenger?
Yeah, Facebook Messenger.
Oh, okay, I got you. I'll go ahead and I will go grab it.
Yeah, just a little trip down memory lane and a fun moment that people might appreciate. Dylan might appreciate it. Not sure if he even remembers the moment, but
here's somebody that will definitely appreciate No DQ and Talk Wrestling history because he's been with us since the days prior to Talk Wrestling as a fan. He became a contributor and let's call him what he is. He's a collaborator. He's one of us.
Hey.
The Pennsylvania sensation himself, fresh off overnight.
I'm actually still here.
Good to see you, brother.
Yeah, I'm actually still in the tournament, but it's tip-up break right now. So I at least wanted to pop in and say congrats on the 15 years of Talk Wrestling.
Hey, Greg, trivia question.
I appreciate it. That's cool, man.
What's up?
Barry Windham's WCW theme song cover from which band?
We're not doing this again. He did this to me.
Oh, Barry Windham!
Yeah,
Jeff, do you know?
That's right.
I don't remember.
He's in the Hall of Fame, damn it. And you know what? He's actually going to be actually, no, he's not. He's not going to be is he? Yeah, he is. He's going to be at that thing that Conrad's doing for the Horseman reunion at Starcast. So that'll be cool to see if I actually see that part of the show. I don't know if I'm going to get order the whole pay-per-view or not. That's a lot of damn money. But we'll see. How goes the poker?
Well, I'm still in, if that means anything. It's actually not bad.
Still in's good. It's always good, right?
Yeah. I made the final table of the first tournament. Doing pretty well. Probably got to make the final table of this one also. So, not too bad.
There you go.
But I just wanted to say congrats on the 15 years of Talk Wrestling and just plug in the Greg Cherry Show for tomorrow. What are we talking about? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But tomorrow at 7 o'clock Eastern.
Do we know what we're talking about ever? Like going in? Is there ever really a plan with the Greg Cherry Show more often than not?
Not really. We just go by the seat of our pants and hey, but also for anybody watching, check out on Sportsmanlike over on Know Your News. That show just started.
Yes. Yes.
Today, actually. So go check that out. We look at the best, well, not really the best. We look at the worst and weirdest things in sports. So go check that out. It's me and Jared Bailey, who was on an episode of Jack of All Trades. So go check that out.
Okay,
Two Pittsburgh boys doing the show.
Yince, guys, is okay. I'm not sure why I kicked Dylan out, but there he just told me to kick him out. Probably because his phone's having a spaz.
I got to go anyway because the tournament's restarting. So
that's all right.
Good luck.
I didn't want to talk about Heinz Field tomorrow, so we'll definitely get into
No,
that.
we definitely will. We definitely will.
All right, brother. Take it easy. Good stuff.
Take care.
So Aaron did send me the picture down memory lane. It actually kind of ties into
We need
where I want to
Dylan
transition
back
next.
though.
Well, but yeah, Dylan is still watching. It won't let him back in for some reason. But I'm not sure. But this is a cool picture because this was actually taken. That's tremendous. That's actually out in the Inland Empire. What else is it Covina or West Covina that Jesse runs his shows?
West Covina.
West Covina, because that was the same night, I do believe, that they ran the EWF Hall of Fame ceremony the first time, which is where these pictures were taken. And these are just two of the people that have been on the actual Talk Wrestling show with us. I mean, we had the interview show prior to Talk Wrestling's existence that we had a whole bunch of people on, but these two were definitely on Talk Wrestling that night that we recorded, and then they were up in future episodes. Frankie, of course, Frankie Kazarian's been one of our good friends over the years. I actually talked to him earlier, Aaron. He said he will see what he can do about coming in. He has to go through what do you call it? My brain just spazzed. AEW PR, which is an adventure apparently. So, but he said he would do his best to come on.
No.
So, yeah, but he does wish us both well, and he said he's sorry he missed us last time when they were out here for Dynamite, and I said, well, Aaron didn't come anyway. He's in Michigan now. I said, well, next time you guys are in and I'm in, we'll do the thing. I said, okay, cool. But what was really so we did let me try that again. That's why we're live. We did the first iteration of Talk Wrestling for, I want to say it was about 4 years. We had our little spat, our little breakup, some people called it, which I found funnier than hell.
Your video is still on YouTube, the resignation video.
Oh, I know. I can't. I have been asked to leave that up, not just by the people that run the channel, which of course is the Casa, our buddies in the Casa, but also just because the fans enjoy throwing it in my face so damn much. Because I was such a dick that day. And I felt rightfully so, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this show's successor, I guess is the proper term for it. After the Bell, which of course WWE stole right out from underneath me as soon as I came back to No DQ and Star Talk Wrestling again. It was just the end of After the Bell, and now Corey Graves does that podcast, I guess, whenever he gets the itch up his ass. So good for him. Let's see. I missed a whole bunch of comments, so I'm sorry, y'all. I've just been trying to run this by my damn self.
It's not an easy job. Like when I do the streams on No DQ, trying to get the comments up and putting them up on screen and multitasking, it's a tougher job than it might look.
It is. This is why a lot of people. Aaron has a lot of people moderating during the chats because, especially during the recaps, when he's doing the review, it's a little easier for him to run the thing when he's not moderating or he's not in direct control of what's going on. And yes, Josh, that was a Patriots jersey. He's 14. I can't make him do everything I want him to do, and it is what it is. Let's see. So I did want to bring up the reason I brought up the spat and the break for a while is because who else could bring us back together, Aaron, except our old buddy RVD? He was the very first guest we had on Talk Wrestling after whatever it was, a few months of just me being a talking head in front of a camera. We went out to Malibu or some shit and did that great 3-part show with him, and that was during the first run. But then it's funny considering where I'm going Sunday. It's even a funnier story now. But Dylan and I went to Disneyland in the summer of 2014. Not like it's a special, occurrence. Still, I'm going to Disneyland. That's just what we call Tuesday. But as we're walking out to the harbor, the bus stop there to go home, I get a DM. Hey, you still doing Talk Wrestling? Yeah. He says, I got something to plug. Okay. And I thought, okay, I'm not doing Talk Wrestling anymore. And the Casa and I were kind of on the outs at that point too. First thing I do, because Aaron and I had talked. Aaron and I had talked after in the lead up to SummerSlam 2013, because I actually hosted the ODQ after party with you that year out at Hooters when they were still doing it out here in LA. And we've been, done like a couple of prediction shows or recap shows, whatever, over that year. But, Rob Rob wanted to plug his little whatever the hell he was plugging back then. Jesus, the freaking tweet secret or whatever the hell the freaking thing was called back then that went nowhere for unfortunately. But I said, okay, I want to give him a proper platform, so I called Aaron. Waiting for the bus. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? You know, and he goes, well, we'll figure something out. We ended up going in October, and we went down to Venice Beach, and it was an awesome day. And like I said, there's only a couple pictures I got in the collage there, but the one of the three of us, Dylan actually took that picture.
He's quite the photographer.
Well, he's got it in his genes. His mama's side's full of photographers, so it kind of worked out that way. I just love that the capture. I want to say I think you took the picture of Rob and I recording as you because I remember you set your hard camera up and you were moving around the table. So just my reaction to whatever the hell Rob was saying is just like, oh, like what'd he say? Just great times. I always enjoyed when we got to go out of the apartments, out of the house, out of the backyard to just go do something, whether it was the old show, whether it was this show, it was anything we did. It was always cool to go out and do something.
For sure.
I look forward to once this pandemic clears up, we actually have you back out here again and actually go do something.
Would be nice. You know, there's also that episode of Talk Wrestling where you were at the independent show when you were doing the rounds, going around talking to people.
Yep, definitely ruffled a few feathers with that one. I didn't get a clip from that because no clips on that will ever get me in good company with anybody ever again, unfortunately. But yeah, it's been weird that this show has gone with me throughout doing the creative stuff for the one company with Travis, doing not this particular Talk Wrestling, but doing the shows with you, and getting a play-by-play gig for a different independent company out here. So it's kind of allowed me to live the little indie wrestling dream without actually having to get in the ring and get beat up, which is always nice. But I did, of course, get the one time I did get beat up or whatever was out in what the hell's the name of that city? Marietta, Temecula, whatever hell, that way out there in the boonies. And yeah, it's been, like I said, it's been a crazy 15 years, but during the break I had, and leading up to the break when I first started going down to Long Beach, we had JJ, and again, JJ can't be on. He's actually in the middle of getting his stuff together, but Mikey was also living in the apartments at the time. Our buddy Stat Boy. Good to see you, sir. How are you?
Mute that real quick because I'm on the...
Oh, I guess he wasn't ready.
Hey, everybody, going?
How are things in Nashville, right? Knoxville. So better because that's more in the mountains, right?
Yes. We are nestled nicely in the Smoky Mountains
Smoky Mountains of Tennessee.
The Great Smoky Mountains of Tennessee, where Knoxville is our closest major city. Nashville is 3 hours away. It's in central Tennessee. We're in eastern Tennessee.
All right,
which is why I'm not going to Starcast and SummerSlam because I ain't got no place to stay. It's close enough. 3 hours each way every day would be a bitch.
Now, are you going to that Ric Flair's last match deal?
No. I'm going to be ordering it here, but I'm not going to be. Like I said, if Mikey wasn't 3 hours away from Ground Central, I would be there in a heartbeat because it's that and the actual getting there. Everything else is fairly inexpensive. It really is. So, but it's just an actual place to stay within rational distance of travel and then actually getting into Tennessee because flying's a bitch right now. And any other transportation mode, I have to leave like now to get there on time. So it kind of seems silly, but appreciate it. We are going to get together at some point because you remember Mikey's out in Sevierville, which is where they put him since he's working at Dollywood. So it's just a matter of getting to the closest hub transit wise,
which is Knoxville.
Now, so how close in proximity is Sevierville, Knoxville, all that to Knox County and everybody's favorite mayor of controversy at the moment?
1 hour.
Ooh, too close.
Right.
But minus the controversy that whatever Mayor Jacobs is talking about, I think this is his first strike since I've been out here, because everything else that he's been talking about, I'm okay with. One,
Yeah, the
because
problem is it's his
it's
first strike.
Kane. Okay, I'm sorry, it's Kane. I'm sorry. I'm marking out for a mayor.
Not even that. The problem is he's had his first strike this year, but he's gone 3 strikes in about 2 weeks. He can't keep his mouth shut.
He's a politician.
He's a politician, exactly. He fell directly in line with the people above him in the party, and he fell directly in line with the guy at the head of the WWE food chain. So it is what it is, Snap Boy, and you know it.
It is what it is. Anyway, bro, I just popped in here. I want to, of course, give my congrats to you. 15 years is a long time. And if it wasn't for you, and if it wasn't for Aaron, and if it wasn't even for the Casa D18 people and all that stuff, we would not all be doing this together as family. I love you greatly. You and Renegade neck and neck when it comes to being brothers. Always. You put up with my stuff, And Aaron, don't be surprised if I come a knocking one of these days and say, hey, can I be on a no DQ show with you guys to throw my 2 cents in? You had Renegade on there a couple times. It's my turn next.
Well, technically, you're on an episode of Talk Wrestling on NoDQ.com right now.
Well, I'm talking about the other stuff too. I mean,
if you can counter argue Virtue, that would make for a very entertaining video.
Don't say Virtue on this, boy. What do you do? Why? Why would you do that to poor Mikey? Oh my goodness. Oh,
that's better than a pay-per-view.
We're looking for somebody that's got an opinion that will get Virtue rattled. That's for sure.
Here you go. All right, this is history. This is history right here, right now, because
here we go.
Aaron and I are here. Stat Boy's here.
Here we go.
And now JJ is here. So for the first time on NoDQ.com and my channel and JJ's channel and Greg's channel, the 4 of us are together at last. Good God, save the world from us all.
Right?
Hello, brother.
Hello, JJ. How are you,
Mikey? My friend? What's going on, Aaron?
Not much. How's it going? Where are you at right now?
I am currently in my car waiting for my girlfriend to get out of 99-cent store.
Well, there you go.
Oh, hey.
That is such a Casa/California thing right there, brother. I love it.
Got to make the most of your time, I suppose.
That's right.
Well, we just got keys for the new place today, so we're trying to grab
kick ass, bro. All right.
Mike, you mind not talking over me? Thanks. So we're trying to grab little odds and ends things that we need for the new place until we can empty out the storage facility this weekend.
What are you guys paying in California now? Like $5,000 a month?
Oh my God.
Actually, we found a 2-bed, 2-bath apartment in Victorville for $1,800.
Not too bad for California. I mean.
Yeah, and then we ended up getting a deal. Basically, the first month was only $600. The next month will be only $1,200. So we're basically getting 2 months' rent for the cost of 1 month for the first 2 months.
Wow.
Nice. And you're close to the Young Bucks, too.
Well.
Yeah, assuming we want to join the Super Kick party.
Right.
That's it. He's close to the compound now, so it's all good.
If Stat Boy keeps talking over me, he may have a Super Kick party of his own.
Ooh. Oh, shit.
Gladly take it. Because I've been wrestling.
Style, tune up the band and everything.
Yeah, Aaron knows firsthand a good chunk of reason why Aaron ended up leaving California. Not where he is now, obviously, because where he is now is a whole different reason. But because it got too damn expensive to live down here. It's terrible.
And it's just going downhill, in my opinion.
Well, Aaron would be very surprised to hear that for the first time in my memory, Aaron, and you've been coming out to film with me, audio or video, for almost 20 years now. We actually have a thing where we have a reliable set of people that we are guaranteed to see when we get off the freeway living off the off-ramp now. There's a person there. There's a person on the underside of the bridge there by Cousins burgers. It's actually become a thing now. We have that out here. We had a shooting out here, so we're just getting to be a grand old city here in San Clarita anymore. So yeah, it's definitely not the idyllic place it was when I first met Aaron and was sending in a review from WrestleMania 2000 and going, God, I hate Anaheim. I'm so glad I'm back home.
Well, after moving to Oregon, I would never go back to California.
No. Oregon is so much a complete difference of everything. It's so you get the city feel in the Portland area, but it's still like you drive 5 minutes and you only know there's a city behind you. It was
and it's
so
just
much
so green
better.
there.
It's very green. And the thing is, it rains too much. Number one, Muckerfeather, not in Seattle, so slow your roll. Number
It rains
two,
more in Michigan, actually.
I was gonna say it rains more where he is now. Yeah. And number two, when that rain stops, that means things grow and grass and it's pretty and trees and God forbid you actually breathe clean air. What you gonna do in LA?
Clean air, what's that?
Seriously.
Nothing in California.
No.
We had clean air for about 3 weeks during COVID when nobody was able to go anywhere.
Right.
Yes,
you would
true. Yes.
You would not believe how blue the skies got again, Aaron. Like, oh my God,
I showed him.
So gorgeous out here.
And
then restrictions were lifted. People were able to start going everywhere again, and it turned back into crowd.
I showed him because our season ticket rep for the Kings sent a she became friends later, not the one we have now, but she became friends with us. She sent us a picture as she was driving in about 2 weeks in, right? And no traffic on the freeway, which was scary as fuck. And there's the F word. Sorry, Aaron. I forgot I'm on your channel too. And just clean, like no pollution in the air, like no traffic. It was scary. Definitely scary. But definitely one of the eerier things about the last 15 years. I would say, other than when we started and why we started Talk Wrestling, because of the Benoit thing, this pandemic has definitely been the most surreal 2 years of my 15 doing this and my 20 with Aaron, period. It's been crazy.
Jeff, I just wanted to mention when we were talking about California, tie this into wrestling. Like, one of the good things about living in SoCal back in the day was the old PWG when it was like $20.
Yeah.
Those shows were
There you
phenomenal.
go.
And now, what are they, like $150 for a ticket, and they moved to downtown Los Angeles?
Yeah, they're actually at the
$150 for a ticket, and it's not even the first couple rows. Those are like $200 a ticket.
Yeah, it's
like, dude, I remember going to Gorilla, and it was like $25 for the first row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's funny how perspectives change. When Aaron and I, the first guys that ever went to PWG in this little circle of chaos was Lee and I. We went to a show in Santa Ana. It was the show before the Loser Leaves Town match with Pierce and Kazarian. The show before that was in June of 2004, and it was in Santa Ana. Like, I couldn't even tell you the name of the location. I only remember it because that was the only time I myself was face to face with CM Punk.
Did he punch
The
you out?
first one that I ever went to, it was me, Mikey, Juan, and Ray, I think.
Yeah. And that was also
WrestleMania 21 weekend.
Yep. Yeah, because that's when we met, although I couldn't recall the details to this day. Well, mainly because I went out that night afterwards and got a freaking LP smashed over my head. Hello, CC.
Just go ahead and take
It's CC.
Hey, how's it going?
Everybody's in the party. I love it. I dig it.
Absolutely.
So, CC, this is, I don't know if you've actually met, obviously you know Dorka in the bottom right here, but this is actually Aaron. This is Aaron with the man behind the craziness. So there you go.
Nice to finally meet you kind of in person.
Yeah, I'm Jeff's longtime buddy. We got the whole streaming thing going. Actually, well before the streaming started, we were doing YouTube videos, like right when YouTube started, and even before that, we were doing videos where I would actually upload them to the website before there was even a YouTube. That's how long we've been
To
doing
the
this.
server itself, which is why
Nice.
Aaron was so astounded that even with being on YouTube for well over 4 years at that point, when Punk's promo crashed the server of NoDQ.com,
wow.
and JJ and Mikey and Ray and I were in Vegas, he called me going, "What the hell's going on? What are you talking about? We just crashed the server." I went, "Well, Punk's in the ring doing his thing, or Punk's on the stage. That's probably what." Crazy, crazy night.
Absolutely. Congratulations for 15 years.
Yes,
Yes,
definitely.
awesome. Yeah, you know, I'm a huge fan of all you guys. I listen as much as I possibly can. So I appreciate it. I just had to come and say hi myself.
I appreciate that. It
Thank you.
wouldn't be an episode with me and Aaron on without somebody on the road doing something in Southern California. So I appreciate y'all calling in here. And JJ, I don't know if you came in all during this part of the show, but I did make sure I mentioned the little break I took when I did this show with you guys. So definitely wanted to throw it up there again now that you're on the line with us.
Yeah, I didn't catch that part. I think we were in Wally World at that point, but
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I appreciate that. I'm glad that I was able to be a part of your journey for those couple of years while you were away from Aaron, you know, and started to branch your wings on your own.
And he ripped off Corey Graves.
Hey,
Corey Graves ripped off Jeff Meacham.
That's right. That's right. Corey Graves wasn't even a freaking NXT tag team champion when I started doing the shows with Aaron and with JJ, so he can kiss my ass.
For real. You know,
Yeah.
Jeff had after the bell first. He should have Carmella too.
Whoa. Well,
No.
I mean, she was like a girl. Why not?
No.
Corey
Yeah,
Graves
thing
said,
is,
James, your throwaway. You should take his woman.
Well, you know what? Thing is, though, she went from being a Laker girl to a Patriot cheerleader, and now she's big on Boston and Pittsburgh sports. I'm like, that's
Okay, yeah, that's 3 strikes right there. Laker girl,
exactly.
Patriot, and Corey Graves.
Yeah, that is 3 strikes.
Yep, negative.
You're out. You're out.
Well, gentlemen of the Casa family, and CC, of course, now that you're here, I appreciate you both popping in. We're gonna go.
And Dory Lou, don't forget her.
Hello, I'm still
We
here.
can't have the camera on the entire
Oh,
thing. I'm
hi,
sorry. Hi, Dory. Good to see you. Family reunion here. Jesus Christ.
I'm hiding.
That's shit. Anniversary. Anyway, thank all 4 of you for popping in. I appreciate it. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it down, and then we're gonna say goodnight so Aaron can get to sleep. It's almost 11 o'clock for poor Aaron. So and for Mike,
Absolutely.
No problem,
That is
Jeff.
the one
Thank
thing
you for having us on your thing.
The
Yes.
one thing I miss about the West Coast is the time difference. It was so much
Yes.
easier doing the live streams and recapping the shows on the West Coast. And Jeff, I'm envious that it's only 7:43 Pacific time.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm actually ready to watch NXT instead of having to try to, mess with my stupid Fire Stick. So I feel you. JJ, CC, Mikey, Dory, again, thank you all. We'll see you. JJ, we'll see you later this weekend, probably if we do it Monday night on Saturday. And then Mikey, of course, August 9th, the return of Stat Boy Sports Bar, exclusively on Tuesdays on the Casa Studios channels. There you go.
awesome.
All right. Thank you. We've enjoyed
Bye,
being
guys.
part of your celebration. Gonna steal my old buddy over there in Tennessee's phrase. Renegade out.
Night, guys. Mikey, Dory, again, thank you. Oh, there we go. Everybody's going. There we go. All right. So, Aaron, other than what we've talked about, because there's been quite a few things talked about today, what would you say is your favorite moment of recording talk wrestling, as far as the man behind the camera?
The stuff with the Edge Bear I thought was really fun when you ran him over on that one episode. And when you dressed up as Santa Claus, like that was always a nice little change of pace. And we did the little split screen.
That was good.
Actually, no, we did not do a split screen. You and Santa Claus were actually on video at the same time.
We did. We actually did that. It was a cool little thing, and that still works to this day. I have a couple of friends of mine who are also clients of Santa as on an ambassador situation, and the one's getting old enough where she's starting to figure it out, and I show her that video. I'm good to go. So
Yeah.
it's much appreciated. The technology back in even 07 and 06 is still working in 2022. So thank you. I actually had Santa on open mic night a couple weeks ago through the magic of technology. So I was live here and Santa popped in over on a call. So it worked out.
Good to see him staying busy and making the rounds.
Well, it's Christmas in July, so that is kind of how it worked out. He came in during Money in the Bank, which was a busy night for us all. Money in the Bank. What'd you think of Money in the Bank? You and I really talked about the premium live event. What'd you think of Money in the Bank this year?
It was good. Not as good as the AEW pay-per-views as of late, but it was still a pretty solid show. And one thing I like about the WWE shows is that they're relatively short. The 3 hours I think is ideal for a pay-per-view or a premium live event. I love the AEW shows, but I end up going live at like 12:30, and that is difficult. That's a challenge in more ways than one.
We were commenting during Money in the Bank that show very much seemed to be paced like an AEW show, but not near the amount of matches. So we were boom, boom, boom. We had more time on Monday than we anticipated. So we ended up adding topics just to have, a good, because we usually, it's so crazy to think about now when we started doing this and you and I were just trying to, keep it under 20, give me 30. Shit, we'll go 8 hours on pay-per-view nights now with open mic night just because the coverage of the show and then into the topics. And they've given us so many gems to cover here in the news lately between the two companies. It's just been a grand old day. I wanted to ask you, because it's going to be a rare thing, if ever, that I get to be on a review with you the same week that there's a topical thing that's not open mic night. What do you think about them? Let me get the super chat real quick here. Dwayne, thank you for the $5. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. And everybody that said hi that I haven't talked to, I apologize. Hello. Thank you, everybody in the chat room that's watching. We talked about this on Dad's on yesterday's show. I think that, granted, they can't call it War Games because WWE owns that, the name or whatever. But why would AEW go completely against what they said they wouldn't do as far as giving away the, pulling the Nitro thing on free? You know what? We're going to hold that for just a second because we actually had somebody else pop in that I wasn't counting on, but he made it. He is officially, with cigar in hand, because that's how cool this dude is, as awarded by us, God, Frankie, 2004, but to this day, the coolest wrestler alive. Frankie Kazarian, my friend, it is so good to see you. I'm glad you made it, brother.
Hey, man. Yeah, sorry I didn't give you any advanced warning, but I figured I'd pop on and say hello and say congratulations on 15 years, man.
God, it's crazy. It is so wild to me, Frankie, that we were doing the interviews on our old show that you cut promos for us for even before that, but we managed to get you on Talk Wrestling when you got the nod from Jesse for the Hall of Fame. That was a cool night.
Yeah, man, that was cool. I mean, everything in wrestling is subjective, and Hall of Fames are what they are, but I mean, Jesse's, somebody I have a ton of respect for and look up to a great deal, and a guy that helped me out so much in my formative years. And, and he, I pretty much would do anything for that guy. So when he called and said he wanted to put me in the EWF Hall of Fame, I was honored, happy to be there. It was a cool night, great match, and just a cool kind of full circle moment for me, man.
Yeah, you and Sky had a great match that night, which, by the way, knowing what you and I talked about earlier, I'm not surprised it didn't happen, but man, I was so bummed that you and Sky didn't have that match at the Forum. I was like, come on, man, SoCal boys, you're killing me. But
yeah, there was discussions about something like that happening. But in wrestling, every I learned early on that at the end of every pencil is an eraser. So you kind of got to just roll with the punches, man, and just it was still very cool to be at the Forum as a SoCal kid, born and raised, to be there and to do my thing in front of those fans. That was a real special moment, man.
It's funny to me that, as long as Aaron and I have been together doing these shows, which is going to be 20 years in October and doing 15 of this show, I've only been to 2 wrestling shows ever at the Great Western / Fabulous Forum. The one with you guys here recently, and then the WWE house show that Aaron said was in 2015. It's just crazy that all the history intertwined with my family, with the Kings being at the Forum all those years, and it's only ever been 2 shows, been true wrestling wise.
Yeah, so I had never been to a show at the Forum. When I was a young man going to wrestling shows, I was strictly a WWF fan, so I always would go to the LA Sports Arena for all the live events, all the house shows. And back in those days, only NWA/WCW was running the Forum, and I didn't really have a whole lot of exposure to that. So I wasn't necessarily a huge like NWA fan growing up. So I was strictly a LA Sports Arena guy. And a part of me is sad that I never got to wrestle there because I went to so many matches there, my first ever wrestling match. But I mean, to be at the Forum and the history of that building, and you know, I've seen countless concerts in that building, and just, you know, being a Lakers fan, and you know, it was just cool to be in there and to be at the Forum Club after. It was a pretty cool night, man.
How is the Forum Club, man? I have not been. Okay, so, you know, don't tell anybody the Forum. I was in there as a kid back when you weren't supposed to be in there as a kid at the Forum Club back in the day. So those photo shoots were amazing. You guys did downstairs. It looked like throwback to the old days of Hollywood. It was so cool to see all that stuff.
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was cool just to be in the Forum Club. I mean, you know, I was up there with Scorpio Sky, who's, you know, huge Laker fan, maybe the biggest Laker fan I know. You know, we were just kind of in there sitting and just having a beverage and talking about how cool that was, you know, just, you know, dude, like, you know, stuff like that's not lost on us, especially, you know, me and almost 25 years into this, you know, it's cool just be sitting in the Forum Club after wrestling in the Forum. It's just, you know, almost a little bit surreal. It was super cool, man. It was
definitely fun. Like more often than not, you guys will have a break and then you'll tape Rampage on a Wednesday. But because they were running out at Toyota Arena, you guys didn't do that night. So I meant they shuttled us all out, and walking through where they had the fan section, I'm like, this used to be the undercarriage of the building. Like, just watching, like, you know, like, I remember when in the Kings days, you'd walk down there, you know, you go see your buddies that are refereeing, or, you know, you just whatever. And, you know, where they walked us out, I remember, because it was on that side of the building, is where I met President and Mrs. Reagan at a Kings game back in '94.
Wow.
They were, it was during, no, I'm sorry, '93. It was during the only time the Kings went to the playoffs, the finals during the Forum years. And my dad and I were just walking down there after warm-ups, just, you know, doing what we always do, just walking around kind of schmoozing. And here they came, Secret Service and everybody right behind us. I'm 10 years old, not knowing what I'm doing. They almost tackled me walking up to Mrs. Reagan, and she kind of easy. And it was just so weird to stand there and go, holy shit, this is where I was. It was so, and then of course you're out the door because, you know, traffic in LA is still fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was cool, man. You know, I was just being in that building, and it was funny. I was talking to Jericho, and I was, you know, we were talking about how I'd never wrestled there, and I was like, you know, I was at a concert here in '96, early '96, and it was Ozzy Osbourne Retirement Sucks concert, and Korn opened for him. And that was the first time I saw the band Korn, and Jericho like goes, wait a minute, dude, I was at that same concert. Apparently he was at that same show. He was down in SoCal doing some shows for, I think, Martine at the time.
Oh my God, Martine. Jeez, I haven't heard that name in 20 years.
So it was just weird. So we both got a pretty big laugh about that. It's like, wow, how crazy that we were at the same, you know, at the same concert all those years ago, right before he really kind of got his break. And when I was just I was just like fresh out of high school. I was just a kid. So, you know, it's cool, man. Yeah, real cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you figure.
Sorry to interrupt, by the way. It seemed like you guys were deep in discussion. Didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to.
No, you're good. No. I was just going to ask him about the whole. I was going to ask him about AEW TV, but I'd rather talk to you any day of the week, so that's fine. It's funny because Chris actually got his break because Bischoff saw him at Inoki's thing out here in LA. So it's just kind of weird how the world, and then, you know, you and I, or well, let me be clear, not be a complete fanboy jackass. You end up on the Jericho cruise because of your wrestling ties, and then we end up all together on the ship because my dad and I ended up going on the cruise last year. Yep. And then I've been telling everybody for months now, and I haven't had a chance to really like thank you in front of the world, but on behalf of Paradise Kitty, man, thank you so much. You guys made those girls' day by selling out that atrium all 3 nights. You yourself freaking bought 3 of our shirts for your bandmates, which I really appreciate. you know, especially with what shirts cost these days. So thank you so much.
Oh man, well, you know what, dude, those cruises are so much fun for me as a wrestler and as a musician, and I've gotten to see some really cool. Chris is always really good about bringing. I think he always has an all-female tribute act there. You know, he had the Killer Queens, which is a all-female Queen tribute band, and those ladies were outstanding. You know, he had Shoot to Thrill, which is a all-female AC/DC cover. They rocked it. And Paradise Kitty, those girls, man, they're the real deal. They have the chops. They played one of the nights. They played the entire Appetite album, start to finish, and I was just in awe. It was so much fun. They were so cool. They were so friendly. That atmosphere there was just awesome. Yeah, it was a great time, dude. And I'm happy. Again, as a musician in a band trying to really, you know, make our name, I was happy to support them in any way I could.
How was the whiskey show after Dynamite? I'm so bummed I had to miss all that.
Yeah, so that again, you know, being a kid from SoCal and, you know, playing the Forum one night and then the whiskey the next night, you know, a little bit surreal. And again, things that aren't lost on me, you know, in my advanced age.
Shut up! Listen to you.
You know, really cool. Just like I said, we had a huge turnout. Jeff Hardy was there, headlining the show. A bunch of the people came out. A bunch of the roster came out to support. Jericho was there. He jumped on stage and did a song with us. Yeah, man, just cool. Just a great week for me. You know, finally being able to do this in front of my friends and family on this level. You know, I mean, I've been out here for years, and I've had friends and family follow me around and watch me wrestle in high schools and you know, carnivals and just, you know, in like street fairs, and to finally, you know, be at the Forum and be in Ontario and be at the whiskey. It was cool, man. It was a cool weekend. I can't complain about any of it, dude.
Aaron, you were and your dad were at MPW's first show, and it was Frankie and Daniels and Adam Pearce. So there's a weird little trio connection here as well. So just crazy how the world revolves, and the more things change, the more they still just bring us all back together. I love it.
Yeah, I was 17 years old. I was 17 years old when that MPW show took place, and my dad was doing the commentary out there. I don't know if you remember him, big, large guy, over the top. He was doing commentary, and they were actually letting me film some of the stuff. So I actually got to do an interview, like filming it with Adam Pearce. And that was just like the most surreal thing ever, looking back at it, because I was like 17 years old back then. And it was just a fun experience. And this was like, what, 2001?
2000, brother, 2000.
That was like, you know, seeing you guys do that match and that style of wrestling before it really became mainstream, you know, that was pretty cool to be part of that. And going to those early PWG shows, like in 2004, 2005, before it really blew up, you know, like the past 10 years, that really got big. But back then it was still relatively unknown. You know, that was really fun to be part of that stuff before it really became mainstream.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that match? That was like, I want to say that was, if not his first, one of his very first shows, Adam Pearce's first shows here. Yeah. And you know, I'd heard a lot about him, and believe it or not, that was the first time I'd ever been in the ring with Chris Daniels.
Wow.
So for me, that was a big kind of test, because I was still a relatively new young guy just trying to make my name, and to put me in there with somebody who was more than established, like Christopher Daniels, and Adam Pearce, a guy who had this, you know, pretty huge reputation coming out of the Midwest, was, you know, kind of one of those first tests for me to see if I could hang with guys that, like, I wasn't used to being in there with, you know, names. And that was, I remember it was a 3-way match, and it was, you know, I felt a lot of pressure at the time, you know, stupidly so, probably bad. Felt a lot of pressure that, like, I have to really, you know, kind of bring my A game, because these guys are, you know, the real deal. Not that anybody I'd wrestled before wasn't, but like, this was different. And that show had a lot of buzz at the time. That's, you know, I mean, I'm not too familiar with the scene in SoCal right now, but at the time it was lighting up, and it was getting pretty pretty hot at that point. So, yeah, it was cool. I remember I had a lot of pressure, and again, another good opportunity for me to show what I could do against two established dudes who, still to this day are killing it, doing their thing in the business.
Yeah, we really appreciate it too. Like, I remember like when TNA started and we were watching all those shows, like it was really cool to see you guys doing something different to what WWE was doing. And that influenced us enough to where we wanted to actually go out to Orlando, and we went to the 2004 Turning Point pay-per-view, and that was quite the experience. That was really fun doing that. So, we really appreciate everything you guys have done to change the game.
Well, thanks, man. I mean, go ahead, Jeff.
I was gonna say, it's funny with Frankie. I remember it was either a year or two ago. I was digging through a box and I found the pictures I took of the match with Pierce in the cage, where the two pictures that stand out to me are three. There's one of you two face to face right before the match starts. There's one of him looking like not directly at me, but kind of off to the side with the crimson mask. And then I took a picture of you with the belt up in the locker room, posing with the belt. When Adam Pearce asks you to post more pictures, you've got a good collection of shit going. And I think he's, to this day, the only guy that's actually honored a loser leaves anywhere stipulation, because he has never worked for PWG since.
Yeah, and you know what? That was super important to him. Adam's an old school guy. That was super important to him. And first of all, using the word cage is being very liberal, because that was kind of chicken wire with just getting, like, we were astonished the thing held up, because it was this is early 2000s. It's not like PWG had the giant budget to have a proper cage. So the cage was what it was. And I remember in that match we had brawled out into the ring truck, and I picked up a safety cone, one of those orange safety cones, and I just waffled Adam with it and just legitimately busted him open. And I was like, oh boy, here we go.
The cone is at your feet in the picture of you at the championship. That's what makes it so funny. It's like, the murder weapon. Yeah. So I know the answer to this, but there's a question in the chat room. I did see your question earlier about China, so I'll get there momentarily. But I know the answer, Frankie, but go ahead and let everybody know. Terry Runnels, another former guest on Talk Wrestling, is a cigar fan. What is Kazarian's favorite brand of cigar these days? Probably the one. Well,
I got to say American Rebel Cigars. It's my cigar brand, which is, we're going this September will be 4 years since we started the company and it launched, and it's going, it's going great. We got a great partner. Our partner Sam in Pittsburgh. Shout out to Sam, who's the owner of Stogie Bird. He's our partner, and him and I and Cody are still very hands-on. Nice. The company is doing well. It was for us. It was always, something. It was a passion play of ours, something we wanted. We're cigar guys, and we were discussing, hey, why don't we do something? And we were able to do it. And to this day, the cigars are going strong. Really cool. Something else that pro wrestling has afforded me to do on the side, in addition to music. So yeah, it's cool, man. So, a lot of fans have, given us so much great feedback, especially on the cruise. So yeah, it's cool. It's, it's rad.
It was one of those, you talk about that, wrestling's had, especially the last year, so many surreal moments. I don't know about you performing in SoCal, doing the Forum, doing the whiskey. I talked to my dad when we got back to the cabin the first night, and the Kitties did their set. You were out there rocking with everybody in the crowd and everything. And Chris, of course, jumps on stage and does Sweet Child with the girls. I walk back to the cabin and I go, if lightning hits this boat, I'm good. As a fan, my girls are up there singing. My boys are out there selling the place out. Like this, it's not going to get any better. It's really not. It's so fucking cool to see everybody.
Yeah. Those cruises are so much fun, man. I've been fortunate enough to be on all of them, and
nice.
And I've been fortunate enough to wrestle and perform on all of them. I played with Papa Buck on the first one. I jammed with Rubik's Cube on the second and the third one. I jammed with Marco Stunt, and got to perform again with Rubik's Cube. And so for me, being a fan of music and rock and roll, to be able to do both those things, it's cool. It makes for a very busy cruise for me. I'm kind of running all around trying to get. At one point I had to wrestle. Adam Page, and immediately go perform with Papa Buck. And during the match, this was on the first cruise. During the match, I took a hard shot to the mouth. I got my lip cut open real bad. And so I'm performing with Papa Buck, and in between songs, somebody was off to like stage right, handing me a towel to just because my mouth was pouring blood. So I'm just putting this towel to my mouth and soaking up the blood the whole time. And but you know what, man, I wouldn't change it for the world. That's that kind of shit's so cool to me.
Yeah, it's full disclosure, I'd never been on a cruise before October. I'd never been on a cruise ship my entire life ever. So
yeah,
and we were going back and forth. We were like, do we want to go? And then Jenna texts me and goes, we're on the cruise. I'm like, well, I guess we're going. So it was definitely if WrestleMania wasn't coming here a month after the next one, I would probably be on the ship in February or March, whatever it is. But
yeah, they're fun, man. I can't recommend those enough for wrestling fans. I'll be on the next one. And nice. In fact, my band Gutter Candy's playing on the next one. So I will have even more obligations, which is cool. We're gonna play full sets, and very happy to get my band on the cruise. It's cool, dude, and I'll be on every one of them until they kick me off of them.
Right? Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. If budgets weren't a worry, I would live on those damn boats, man. It is crazy how. Because I'm not good with water and boats and nothing around me but water, but man, it was so smooth the whole weekend. The only thing I got really worn out with was the Sunday night. The girls had their set at whatever time they were supposed to start, and of course, we finally found I should say the rain found us. We evaded it all weekend, and then the rain finally found us that last night. So I got a great shot of you and Daniel's kind of coming together there at the end of the cruise. That was cool to see SCU briefly come back together for that. And then me, immediate family, I went for my Judas moment because I hadn't been in front of a live crowd for Judas. He had been already. Everybody had been but me. So I'm like, waiting for it. And then like, oh shit, the band's going to start. I literally filmed myself doing the Judas moment when him and Cassie come out. I ran across that boat to the atrium and got my kitty shirt on. Like, all right, let's go. Like, yeah. I had 10 minutes, I think, between the two. It was crazy. So, probably, but yeah. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, you mentioned Marco, jamming with Marco during the cruise. I had no idea that he was a great talent in that. Like I'd never seen him outside of AEW. It was really cool to see him kind of come out of the shell and really show even the crowd we had on the boat. People were like, whoa, what the hell? Where did that come from? It was really cool to see.
Yeah, he had I knew he was going to do an acoustic set, and him and I had talked the weeks, leading up to that. And, I think that was maybe only like his second time performing by himself out there with an acoustic guitar. And anyone that's a musician or a performer, yeah, dude, you're up there with just an acoustic guitar and a microphone. You don't have a net. You're just up there. Right. So good on him for doing that. And he had asked, he's like, hey, should we do something? And we're like, I was like, yeah, let's do a couple songs. Let's do a couple cover songs. And, we kind of decided on doing a cover of, have you ever seen The Rain by Creedence?
Oh, great song.
And My Hero by the Foo Fighters. So we did a little acoustic version of both of those. And it was cool, man. It was, it was just fun. Just being out there, just, letting that creativity flow on stage as opposed to in the ring. It was cool, dude.
Very, very cool. And I want to give a shout out to Kat. She's the one that sent in the cigar question. And thank you, Kat, for the $20 super chat. Really appreciate that. And thank you for the 15 years of support for everybody out there watching still. We appreciate it because, especially for Aaron, it's already past his bedtime back there on the East Coast. So thank you.
You're going to buy some cigars?
Hey, man, it's almost past my bedtime on the West Coast. So.
Well,
man, I'm out here watching I'm having a SoCal night. I'm watching the Angels game right now on my back deck, and it's a beautiful night in SoCal, like every night. So it's cool. I'm glad to join the celebration here.
Gotta love that Frankie hasn't lost the SoCal roots. He's back on his deck watching the Angels while he's doing the interview, man. Just like old times.
You know it, dude.
And it's tough to be a Halos fan. Again this year, they can never seem to get past All-Star break without breaking our hearts.
Oh, it's frustrating, man. You know, I mean, I'm a ride or die Angels fan, and I have been since I was a very little boy, and you know, it's very frustrating. This you know, having Trout and Ohtani, like two of the best, probably two Hall of Famers. I mean, Trout's a shoe-in. You know, just seeing them not be able to build around them is infuriating at times. You know, very, very frustrating to the point of anger. But you know, such is the life of a sports fan. You know, you just got to stick with them. Hey, how many years were the Rams in the shitter? And you know, look at them now; they're world champions. So, you know, you just
who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? Being at the Forum for the first half of my life as a Kings fan. Good God, was I suffering a miserable bastard or what? Good grief.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, it's being an LA sports fan, unless you were a Lakers fan, we had a miserable existence for most of our lives. You know, I mean, you're only a couple of years ahead of me, so we've had the struggles between the Angels and the Rams and everybody else. It's been a bitch, but it's so cool. I remember going to Angels games, you know, with a lot of the wrestling crowd, you know, at PWG back. It was so cool to see everybody bond still, because it was so very much I mean, even in the, like Aaron said, the early days PWG, before they got big and moved downtown and started charging 10 times as much as they did back then, you know, we'd all, you know, do PWG, you know, Friday night, and then, you know, head to the Big A the next day for a double header or something, just to have some, you know, some time. It was cool. So.
Yeah, I mean, I same thing. I went to a lot of Angel games with you know, Brian Kendrick, who's a dear friend of mine when he was out here, and I mean, he's still out here. And Aaron Aguilera, Hardcore Kid, and, you know, referee Marty Mutaba, you know, like, you know, we went to Angels and the Bowler brothers, you know, I went to games with all those guys, and, you know, because they're all also fans. So, you know, just cool to do that. Cool to do that with my friends, my wrestling friends.
Yes.
You know, go share a cool experience at a ball game, you know.
It's funny you mentioned Aguilera. Aaron will remember this very well. One of our big moments during the original show before Talk Wrestling was we were asked by I forget his last name, so forgive me, Josh, but Bassman's disciple Josh, to help film one of the UPW shows, and that was the night that Masters put Val in the Master Lock, and you saved her.
Right.
And the same show was Luther Reigns' first show back in UPW after WWE dismissed him. And the reason we remember that show so well, ironically enough, the guy that was in here before, JJ, came in, it was in the crowd. He's the one that started the "You were Kurt's bitch" chant. And Luther got so mad, he smacked the camera at ringside that our other guy was using to do like a handheld at ringside. That was Aaron's personal camera that we ran the show on. So we go out back.
Doesn't surprise me if anybody knows Shu Luther Reigns. If anybody knows him, that doesn't surprise me whatsoever, man.
No, he looked at the camera. He goes, "Stop!" I said, "Stop!" And whack. And the next shot is us outside of the galaxy there, and you can tell Aaron's got the camera kind of like freaking horseshoe together, ironically enough, because the shots like this, and it was so. We
did not break, though.
What's that?
Oh, it did not break, fortunately.
Somehow the camera didn't break despite this nearly 300-pound mound of muscle with all of his might just whap right out of our hands.
Well, our guy was furious. He wanted to fight him.
He did.
Oh, that would have been a good idea. Yeah, I'm glad that didn't happen. That would have ended badly.
It was immediately after WWE released him. He was out for blood anyway, and then the crowd's just calling him Kurt's bitch. It's like, oh. And what's funny is Aaron and I are up in that balcony, way at the top of the galaxy where they shot down on. Yeah. And he like each other and went, "Oh shit." I think I moved that fast in my life, Frankie. Oh my God, because we knew we had to get him and the camera the hell out of there.
Those UPW shows, man, I have so many fond memories of those shows. Those, you know, I mean, again, going back to like how hot the SoCal scene was, you know, that UPW was the place to be. And those Galaxy shows were once a month. Every one of them was sellouts. Every one of them were bringing in, you know, at the time, WWF, WWE, Major Talent. Those shows were that was the first, you know, taste of like big time crowds and atmosphere for me. Those shows were a lot of fun, and I just look back on all of those very fondly.
Yeah, it was funny. The lady that asked you about the cigar question brought up seeing me at China's Memorial 2016. That's where I first met Joni. Was at the UPW show that I don't know if she sang or she did something where she was on that little bitty little ramp stage there. They had this set up there at the
that was at the Grove, was it not? Was that the Grove at Anaheim? Going back to the Angels in the parking lot of the Big A. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's one of those. Thank God the Angels weren't running the game when we were there. It happened a lot, but it didn't happen that night. But oh my God, parking was always such a bitch. It was terrible.
Yeah,
but it's LA County, Orange County, so it's going to be that way.
Yeah, I have a lot of memories of those shows too. There was some crazy things that went down backstage. That's you know, I'm gonna probably save those for the book if it ever comes out. So yeah.
It's funny. There was a question earlier, and I want to make sure I acknowledge it because it was a paid question. I'm going to go ahead and, you know, he asked, you know, are you still the elite hunter? I'm kind of going to branch out of that, Dwayne, but thank you for the super chat. You know, we mentioned you've been doing the musician thing now. You're still wrestling. You're still doing that. You got the cigar business. You mentioned the book. Are we going to see Frankie Kazarian get his life story out there now that you've got so many irons in that fire, plus the whole gig? You know, one of the best gigs ever is being a husband and a father. So I can imagine that's a huge chunk of your time now.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I actually got approached earlier this year. An acquaintance of mine asked about a book, and the first thing I was like, nobody wants to hear from me. Like, you know, I'm still doing this. I still, you know, have a lot of years left, you know, and I usually think that books are for, you know, people that have, you know, everything's kind of in the past. But, right. You know, we kind of went back and forth and you know, it was one of those things where I was like, well, you know what, man, like, you know, what if I don't get the opportunity to tell my story, you know, and we started talking about that. And he's like, you know, you do have a unique story. And, so it's like one of those things I'm a lot more open to, you know, I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to write a book, but like, you know, I'm certainly not opposed to it at this point. But you know, that's something I have to really put a lot of thought into. You know, I definitely think I have a lot of stories that people would find hilarious, heartbreaking, you know, inspirational. So, you know, never say never in this business, you know.
Why not?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
How many people can say they've published a book?
Yeah.
Right. That's just it. You know, like, I mean, there's so many, you know, there's so much, you know, there's so many things that you know, that are more important to me now. Like, you know, Jeff, you mentioned being a husband and a father, and, you know, and just those things give you a whole new perspective, you know, as opposed to just being like a young single man,
right,
trying to make his way in the business. You know, when you're a husband and a father and you have a family, you know, you have a different perspective on life and on
absolutely,
you know, the wrestling business. So, you know, I have a lot of stories to tell, you know, from a very different perspective than, you know, say 10 years ago.
Well, it's funny, you know, in the time that we've known each other, you know, Aaron's become a husband, I've become a father. You've done both, man. It's and what's even scarier in wrestling, with the same person. Mm-hmm. So good on you for keeping that together, because that doesn't happen in wrestling too much either. So
yeah, it's funny, you know, a lot nowadays, you know, wrestlers, you know, men and women getting together and staying together is a lot more commonplace, to where back in the day it kind of wasn't a thing. It was like when two people involved in the professional wrestling business got together, you know, the joke was always kind of like, well, let's see how long this lasts. Yep. You know, I've been married, you know, 12 years now. So, you know, we've defied the odds, and a lot of people are doing that now, which is a testament to, you know, kind of the shape the business is in as opposed to how it used to be. So, yeah, it's cool. You know, it's but yeah, you're right. You know, it's one of those things, like, it's, you know, it's never going to last, you know, getting together with, trying to find a partner that will put up with somebody that's a professional wrestler or in this business at all is extremely difficult, because this business is incredibly unique. So I've been very blessed to have a wife and a partner that understands the business and understands me and the frustrations and the ups and the downs and the pitfalls and the perils and all that.
Yeah, I have found that the partners I've had that were not fans going into it, they don't understand my mindset of, this is what I know. This is what I do. I can go out, I've had retail jobs many times in my adult life, but it doesn't bring me that, I don't know what to call it, but it doesn't bring me what this does. And, Aaron's made his living off doing this for over 20 years now. No DQ is going to be 25 next year. So it's just crazy that,
That's big, man. That's awesome.
And I met my wife as she was a fan of my YouTube channel. Crazy enough.
I was going to say, she became a fan watching the early days of Talk Wrestling. So it's just kind of weird how the world revolves. But yeah.
It's very strange.
Yeah, it's just cool, man. And like I said, 15 years and 25 years, there's nothing to sneeze at because, I often say that in professional wrestling, a lot of people can, get hot and get over for 6 months, a year, 2 years, but like I'm a fan of longevity. I mark out for people that have done this at a high level for a long time. That impresses me. And so I am again very blessed to still be doing this almost 25 years in, and still have my faculties about me and still be healthy and still be at the point where I'm having good to great matches. So yeah, it's cool. This because tomorrow's not promised to any of us, especially in this business. So to endure all that comes along with the entertainment industry, the pro wrestling industry is if you can make it in the double digits, you're doing something right, be it podcast, talking, reporting, doing this, all this, it's tough and it takes its toll on you physically and mentally. So, good on you guys.
We appreciate that, Frankie. It's funny you mentioned, longevity with your career. You mentioned the UPW days. Little guy that came out of West Newbury, Massachusetts, ended up in UPW for the first part of his rides, and he just celebrated 20 years himself. It's and it's funny you mentioned like the impressive with longevity. Paul Heyman, during one of his many things that he does, he talked about how long was Steve Austin's run really, like actually as the guy? 2 years, 3 years? John was the guy for 10 years straight through, no real break other than the occasional going to briefly do the money, briefly doing the movie thing, but he was Vince's guy for 10 years without any semblance of who's the next guy. So 10 years is fucking impresses me. Like and 20 overall is crazy to me.
And you know what, man, like, and when it's all said and done, he's going to be talked about as one of the best ever. Like I might be biased because John is a friend and a guy I have an enormous amount of respect for. But I mean, that guy's run and like the matches he's had and the merchandise he's moved and the Make-A-Wish things and just the way he's branched out in mainstream. Like, dude, nobody has worked harder than John Cena, and nobody deserves the success more than John Cena. So every time I see that guy, I'm happy. I'm thrilled for his success. I know how hard he worked from the beginning. And it's really cool to see, hard work and perseverance really paying off in dividends like it has for him. And just so proud of that guy, man.
It's funny you mentioned longevity. Somebody in the chat room, Teaching in Color X with a $2 super chat, saw you for the first time at the forum. So, you're making new fans every day, Frankie. I love that. That's cool to see that.
Cool. Thanks for coming out, man. Where have you been?
Very cool.
But regardless, I'm glad you came out.
And Catherine says, congrats on 12 years, Frankie. So wonderful to hear you speak of your spouse as a partner in all things ups and downs, career and life. You are indeed blessed. Really cool of you to share that. Hey, I was blessed enough to actually, get to meet Tracy not too long after you guys got together. And, of course I was a fan of Miss Brooks and Tracy. It's both you guys are two of the coolest people I've met and doing this crazy shit for all the 20 years I've been doing it. So like you said, it was a rare thing when you guys got together that longevity would be a thing, but it's still, it's to see you guys still after 12 years is amazing to me.
Yeah, man, I'm blessed. I mean, professional wrestling has brought me so much. And, the thing I'm most grateful that it's brought me was my wife and my son. You know, like there's nothing I can do that will ever top, you know, that. So if nothing else, what I got out of this business is something that is more important to me than anything else. So it is very cool. You know, I'm a blessed man.
It is the single greatest joy of my life that I have my son. You know, it's different for guys. You want the guy, you want the boy to, you know, wrestle around with. You want the whole thing, but kids are the best. I love it, and I have said for many years that, you know, the Kings winning the Stanley Cup was the second greatest day of my life because, of course, my son being born was the first. But doing this for 15 years and working with Aaron for almost 20 now, and getting to meet people like you and getting the opportunity to go to Florida just for a friggin' pay-per-view and hang out with you guys afterwards and give you all those ridiculous plaques and just all the crazy memories over the years. It's so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah. I still have that plaque, man. It's going up.
I appreciate that.
It's going up eventually. You know, I'm working on to get my office together. You know, I have a lot of you know, memorabilia, and I've kind of finally decided to, you know, maybe display it and put some stuff up, and you know, I've saved everything, so that plaque's definitely going up.
I appreciate that. Rob told me the same thing last time I saw him a couple years last year. You know, and even him, you know, he was married as long as he was, and now he's seen happier than I've ever seen that guy. So it's crazy how, again, the world turns in mysterious ways. But yeah, this back here is my first time actually having a office studio space of my own. And you know, like I said, I met you, 2004 started doing this shit. So it's, you know, things do come around eventually. You just have to just wait it out, I guess.
Sure. You know, that's just, again, longevity, patience, perseverance, man, all of that. You know, you're not gonna make it in this industry if you don't have those things. So
no, and I definitely am grateful to have befriended you. I'm grateful that, you know, Aaron got to see one of your first major moments at MPW. We've kind of been intertwined, the three of us and the SCU boys, ever since. So it's been really cool. I appreciate everybody's patience, especially on the East Coast, watching as late as it's almost 11:30. So God bless you guys. Anything you want to throw out there, Frankie? I know you got a lot of projects in the works right now. What do you got going on?
Yeah. No, man, you know, I'm just still doing it. I got a lot of you know, I got a lot of appearances coming up outside of AEW. You know, I got a couple you know, I got a show in SoCal here coming up next week. You know, I'll be up in Northern Cali. You know, I'll be in Portland, Oregon. I'll be in Gloucester, Massachusetts, and, you know, and in between I'll be doing AEW. So yeah, man, it's again, I'm still blessed to be doing this. Happy to be doing this, still enjoying it, and still having the time of my life, man.
Man, look at that sunset. Can't beat that right now.
No, I know. You know what? I had to get into I'm out here walking dangerously up on my pool deck, and it was getting kind of dark up where you know, under my patio here, so I'm kind of got the moon in the background there, so
that's incredible.
Enjoying a beautiful night here in the SoCal desert, and just wanted to pop in and say hello and congratulations on 15 years, guys.
Thank you, Frankie. And Frankie just wants to show it again. There's nothing cooler than a SoCal setting. So thank you, brother. We appreciate it, man. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Love to Tracy and the little one for me. We'll talk soon, brother.
Appreciate it. Congratulations, guys. Talk to you soon.
Take care.
Sir. Have a good night. Let's see if we can figure this out here. There it goes. Okay. There it goes. Okay. Well, that was cool. I appreciate him stopping by. I wasn't sure it was going to happen. You know, I talked about off air that, you know, with, you know, oh, that's a no. He found a way. That's so cool. Very cool of him to do that. All right. Well, shit, it's 11:30 for you, so I'm sorry, boss. Let me go ahead and get the plugs in. So, I mean, I was going to ask you about, you know, why would they give away a free War Games match on TV, but that was so much better. So that works too. So let me do the plugs real quick, and then we'll get you off to bed because I know it's late. On DJ's side of things, he's got his continuing Disney Renaissance Month over on the Casa channel, as well as he's reviewing the new release movie of Elvis. That's on Saturday. On the dads and always on wrestling side of things, which is both he and I, he actually just today put up an episode that was lost to editing and rendering because I lost my patience with it and it wouldn't make me any money, and I got mad and said about a lot of bad words I can't say on Aaron's channel. So I decided to hell with it, but he threw it together and he put it up today. And I warn you in advance about the death scenes episode. Do not watch it without a case of tissues. It is ugly. If you're a fan of fantasy movies, if you're a fan of just really gut-wrenching stories, don't watch that show alone. Please don't do that to yourself. But then Ask the Dads, of course, every other Monday. Our next top 10 episode, we're going to have 2 in the same week, actually, because Monday the 25th, we're going to celebrate Shawn Michaels' birthday, which was will be the previous Friday, the 22nd, with his greatest matches. And then JJ and I are coming together in a collaborative effort as far as one list together going into the weekend of Flair's last match with the definitive ranking of the 4 Horsemen. So that'll be interesting, especially for you and I, who are both such old school fans, have been covering basically the entirety of the Horsemen, either as fans or as doing this shit. So it's been crazy. And then Sunday, I get to go home. I'm very happy. I've been home tonight on No DQ and doing Talk Wrestling Anniversary, but I've never actually been there on Disneyland's birthday, which is mind-boggling to me. In my entire life, I've never been actually on the anniversary. So
I can imagine it would be very crowded.
I imagine it will be too, but they've also, you got to keep a couple things in mind. They've blocked out they call it Magic Key now, but the annual pass holder folks, their passes don't work right now. So everybody's a paid customer, but paying customers are paying what they're paying right now. So they're definitely keeping the crowds down. Plus, they're still requiring reservations. You have to queue in advance and the whole thing. The only reason I'm even going is because I have a cast member signing this in. Otherwise, it wouldn't even be a thing. Because I mean, to get in the door on a park hopper would be $200 a piece, and 3 of us are going. So do that math. And watch your wallet explode.
You will not be seeing Joey Ryan there.
What's that?
You will not be seeing Joey Ryan there.
No, we actually did. I was trying really hard to dance around it with Frankie because I know he was one of Frankie's Angels buddies. I really didn't want to mention it live, but yeah, it's unfortunate that Joey kind of dug himself the hole that he did. It kind of is what it is. I mentioned open mic night. He wasn't exactly ever nice to either one of us ever trying to film or doing anything really. But I don't want anybody to just not have a life. What he allegedly did, let me be clear on that, was not okay. But I don't want the guy's life to be completely just devoid of anything, because it's such a fine line to walk. Working where he was working, if he was that kind of person, is definitely not compatible at all. You don't want to work around, people, families, if you're going to be that kind of person. And, I never got the chance to meet Joseph Meehan. That's the problem. He was always on with us because he felt he had to be. It was always Joey Ryan, and Joey Ryan was a dickhead. So I don't, we never got to meet Joseph and really know. I mean, one of the most enduring memories of he with you and I is at the Newhall venue, where he literally took the camera out of your hand and followed Scott Loft into the John.
Right, I remember that.
It's we're trying to get anything out of Tornado and Candice LeRae on camera when they're kayfabing us. It was bad enough, but then to have Joey literally grab the camera without asking and just. Okay.
What is it with these wrestlers grabbing cameras and knocking cameras over? They just when they get in the zone, man, they're not holding back.
What's scary is that was the same camera. That camera lasted the entire run of that show.
And considering all the crazy stunts we did over the years, I'm surprised that camera lasted as long as it did. I think I did buy a second one. And when we started doing Talk Wrestling, we had 2 cameras. So
right. And the reason I know that is because I had a third clip that I wanted to throw up there. Where did it go? From a different angle, if I can. Where the hell's the videos? There it is. We had this shot that was on a different one from the facepalm that I forgot to bring up earlier.
What are your thoughts on Jackass being involved in WWE SummerSlam? And do you think it'll be hurt or help the pay-per-view buy rate? Okay. Jackass. Jackass is a very stupid television show watched by very stupid people. I'm sorry. For those of you that like Jackass, you can turn the mute button on for a few minutes because I'm going to go off on Jackass now. Jackass is America's Funniest Home Videos taken to the ultimate extreme because these guys are purposely filming themselves doing stupid shit.
Wow, that was a bomb right there.
Pretty much. What's funny is those are the tamer parts of that show.
I can't say that I disagree with you, Jeff, on your jackass.
I've just never been a fan of those guys, and it's just bonkers to me that I'm surprised you and the cameras survived as long as they did, because between you getting tossed around various parks and parking lots and everything over the years, and it's just crazy, just not good, not good. And yes, JJ, at least you were responsible for the Joey incident. We did bring up the horseshoe incident with Frankie on the air, and he remembered it. And yeah, it was bad. Just, like I said, I don't think I've ever moved down that many flights of steps in my entire life, trying to go and save our cameraman's life and the camera's life, more importantly. It was bad. It was one of those nights in the business. But anyway, that's what's going on. You've got my Disneyland thing Sunday, if I can get everything filmed soon, hopefully, God. But before we go, and then you, of course, have the No DQ review Thursdays. I know episode 200 is coming up, which when you think about the fact that, the old show made it to 100 in video form, not too many more in audio form, and then Talk Wrestling with you originally ran for 4 years. So the fact that you've made it to 200 for the review with you and Virtue is so cool for me.
The fact that I've probably produced about 3,000-ish videos and live streams over the past 20 years is an interesting thought.
I've always, maintained humbly as I try to be, that I am so glad that my, taking my ball and going home as it was when I did it in 2011 didn't just deter you. Instead, you stepped out of the shadows, as it were, and did your own thing. And man, it's crazy to think that there would have been no on-camera Aaron maybe ever if it hadn't been for me, bouncing. So I am so glad that didn't ultimately deter you and I as friends and as working partners, because I have enjoyed the last 15 years, and Talk Wrestling's been, whether I've produced it myself or not, it's been on No DQ almost its entire run. So it's so cool that it's still going. And I mean, you saw the opening, all these freaking little graphics that, you put this one together. I know that because that was the one that came across with the big old belt, but all these other ones have been designed for us by fans and by other people because we've made such an impact. And I think it's so cool.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll see how much longer we can do this. And one day maybe young Dylan will step in and become the new voice of the internet wrestling community, or whatever we have in 15 years. I mean, who knows what's going to be the technology? Who knows what sites are going to be used for social media? Will social media be something completely different? Like, we don't know.
Well, all I know is the end of the first episode, I plugged my Yahoo email, which I still have, and my MySpace, which I don't.
Yeah, I mean, 15 years ago, could you imagine doing live streams every week? Did you ever think that was even a possibility?
No. When you consider how much of a pain in the ass it was to try to get the regular videos uploaded just to YouTube at that point, not even to the server, like it would have been a nightmare. There's no way.
What people need to realize is just 15 years ago, there were no smartphones. I recorded with a camcorder that had mini tapes, and I had to hook up the camcorder to the iMac and get the footage on the computer, edit the footage, save the footage, and then upload it. There were several steps you had to do. It was so much more time consuming than it is now. With your phone, you can just click the on button, record. You can go live on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, and you can have your video up instantly. Like it's totally different.
I was so devastated that the audio shows are just gone. Like, I don't even know where most of them are anymore. I have the Dusty episode. I have the Bobby Heenan interviews. Most of those are gone. The videos, thank God, I made sure Greg got them before my hard drive completely got wiped by sheer dumb accident about a year and a half ago.
Well, I'm pretty sure I have everything on backup hard drives.
As long as you've got them, that'd be great. Because I still would like, because I'm asking Greg to send me the video files, but he's so busy, it's hard to narrow him down. I know you're busy, of course, as
Yeah.
well. But tell you what, as long as I can avoid the COVID again, like I didn't do this week, and keep my voice. But actually, you mentioned going. Sergeant Slaughter said, can't wait for WrestleMania 30 when it's on Mars or someplace. Well, New Orleans is pretty much Mars. So we'll see where we are in 15 years. We'll see.
Yeah.
But as we have one more super chat, and then I'll let you go. Hi, I'm Jeff Meacham. This has been Talk Wrestling's 50th anniversary. Okay, there you go, Cappy. Okay, there you go. Anyway, Aaron, thank you again for the platform. Thank you for everything. Yep. Thank you to JJ and Cece. Thank you to Mikey. Thank you to my boy, who not quite in bed, so I'll give him a call in a minute. And thank you to Frankie for popping in. Frankie Kazarian. Again, Aaron and I flew all the way to Orlando, and he was deemed the coolest wrestler alive then, and he still is, dude. I love Frankie.
A lot of them were all troopers. We're just a bunch of,
schlubs. Yeah, it's,
bunch of Mark dirt sheet wannabe guys, and they were nice enough to say, yeah, let's do some interviews, and we really appreciate that, because that definitely helped out the site as far as getting more eyeballs to it. And I really appreciate everything you did. Like, you were very much proactive when it came to booking people and getting them on, and you did a really great job with that, so thank you for all that.
Yeah, it's one of those, once we got into Orlando, it was like, somebody's got to be the point man. So it worked out. It's so funny, Aaron. When I went late last year and saw Scott and Kevin, after not having seen them since the Turning Point pay-per-view in person, and we didn't get a picture with Scott or Kevin or Jarrett that night because they were, having their little Godfather meeting back there in the corner of the restaurant. But we did get a shot of them as we walked by it, and I showed Kevin and Scott that video, and Kevin looked, he goes, I don't remember doing this. I was like, wow. So I was so glad we were able to get a picture of the three of us with all of us in better headspaces at that point. It was really cool to have that, especially having a Scott now. It's so, I thank the Lord that we got that moment, because it was, Frankie said himself, tomorrow's not promised, I'm so glad I didn't let the money's not there, it's going to be a bitch out there. I didn't let that deter me. I wanted to see Scott and Kevin, because I hadn't seen them and taken a picture with them ever. I hadn't seen them in almost 17 years. So it was cool to see that moment come happen. But, just being out there for that was so neat. And, now both you and Dylan have a story of, I almost missed something because of going to take a picture with Mickey Mouse.
And I forgive you for that. For everything you've done, I forgive you for almost causing us to miss our flight going home from Orlando.
Those flights had a bad omen going in, because I remember leaving my dress shoes on the plane when we were transferring in Dallas.
Oh,
and
wow.
Because I had my tennis shoes on the flight. I'm not wearing dress shoes on the plane. That's just asking for pain and suffering. But I'll never forget, dude, we were at Dallas Fort Worth, and we were passing the Dallas Cowboys team store, and I looked down at my shoes, and I had the oh shit moment. So I had to book it back to the first plane, and thank God they hadn't cleared out all of the overheads out yet. Oh my God, it would have been so bad. But yeah, I made it back. But yeah, Dylan rips me to this day about being at Disney World on Tuesday and him being born Friday. So, damn that Disney World, it's a troublemaker. But thank you, and thank you to the missus for letting you stay up and be appreciated.
I told her she should try to jump on. She would have enjoyed the Frankie moment, but
she definitely would have. But it's one of those. I look forward to the next interaction, whether it be celebrating 20 years in October, all the shows in between, or hopefully if things lift enough, maybe going to see the Myers house in October when things.
I wish, man.
It'd be cool, but you know what? I will find a way. If I have to go to Universal without you, even though I promised I wouldn't. I promised myself I wouldn't go without you because it's too scary. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful night. He'll see you tomorrow after Dynamite. We'll see you, Greg and I, before Dynamite tomorrow. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. So have a wonderful night, everybody. Thank you all, and here's the next 15.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. Have a great night, everyone.